The summer is here and this is the start of the sweet fruits. One of them is a raspberry, a fruit that I love, and this is why I have over 50 plants of the raspberry. And with so much raspberry, I have a lot of fruits, and this is why I searched some recipe for raspberries. And I have 2 videos already finished that you can do with raspberries. One is a strawberry marmalade. You can put raspberries instead of strawberries. And the other recipe is a cherry pie. You can take raspberries and leave out the cherries. And both are very delicious. And this is why I want to search a new recipe. And I have around 20 cookbooks in English and German from America, England, Germany and Austria. And in this time I found 2 interesting recipes, and one of them we want to do today. And this recipe, I found exact the same recipe with the same words in 2 different books. This one is the Universal Cook and the other is the Lady Assistants. This book is from 775 and this is from 792. And I think they wrote this recipe just from them, but maybe they have this from another cookbook before. And yes, I open this and read it to you. A raspberry tart with cream. Lay some thin puff paste in a patty pan. Put in some raspberries and throw over them some very fine sugar. Put on the lid and bake it. Then cut it open and put in half a pint of cream, the yolk of 2 or 3 eggs, well beaten, and a little sugar. Let it stand to cool before you send it to table. This recipe sounds very easy, but it's not so easy how it sounds, because you need to know special things about the English type of cooking. And in my research I found some description how they make the cream in other recipes, and this is important to know, because if you don't know it, you will lose your cream on top. I will show it to you today, and let's start with the first part of this tart. First I take the puff paste and lay it out even in my pan, and it is important that everywhere is this puff paste, and what is over the corner of the pan I cut off very gentle. Now the raspberries come in the tart, and it's my own raspberries and I don't weigh them today. I think this is a little bit under 1 pound of raspberries what I do in this tart. And I lay them even in the dough and push them a little bit down that there's no air between the many raspberries, and this is laying a little bit deeper for the lid that I put on top later. After the raspberries coming the sugar, and I using grounded sugar. The grounded sugar is very even and soft, and the sweetness is very even later in this tart. It's better than normal sugar. I make a thick layer of grounded sugar on top, and then the last step to make a lid on top, and this is puff paste again. How to make puff paste, I show this later in this year in another video. In the moment my garden is too warm, it's summer, and if I do this outside it don't function because it need to be cooler outside to do this outside. And I cut off around the puff paste and make my new pattern on the corners. I don't know why I use this technique, I just want to try something new. And then it's important to make vending holes in the pie. The vending holes helping the steam from the water come out when it is baked, and you can do 3, 4, 5 vending holes. I have just decided to make 4 of them because I don't know why. It is like fine with 3 or 5 also. For the baking I use a Dutch oven because I don't have an earthen oven until now, and it is very smooth with a Dutch oven. For the Dutch oven, first I put coals under the Dutch oven, put the Dutch oven over it. Put in an iron and the tart on top, and then I lay the lid of the pot on top, and then I make more coals on top than under the pot. On the top I have the double amount of coals or more than under the Dutch oven. This is very important. If you have too much coals under the oven and too less on top, you're burning the ground of your cake, tart, pie, whatever you're doing in the pot. Is very important to have more from the top, and then you have an even baking the whole time. And without preheating the pot, it was needing about 45 minutes. If I preheat the oven, I think it will go between 20 and 30 minutes to have this dish finished. After it's finished, I put it out and let it cool down and go to the next steps. Now I open the lid of the tart and I make it a little bit different. Now this is written in the recipe, and the recipe is open it and let it cool down. It is already cooled down, and the dough, the puff paste, is very tasteful, and this is why I want to use them later too, and not how it is written in the recipe. Now I can open this and have everything here together. Now we came to the big difference from the recipe, and in the recipe it's very easy. Put these 3 ingredients together: 3 egg yolks, a little bit sugar, a little bit cream, and then put it in the hot dough, in the hot tart. This is how I read this, but I think their meaning is different. How I think their meaning is different? It is very easy. In many other recipes they use the same 3 ingredients a little bit different. Also in the modern English kitchen, they're using these 3 ingredients, but they're using this different. And I will show you today how the English cookery used these 3 until today to make a beautiful tart. To make this beautiful English cream, it's important to work separately. First, I separate the egg yolk from the egg whites and collect all egg yolks in his own little pot. To the 3 egg yolks I put a lot of sugar, and then I stir them with a whisk, very patientful, until there is a lot of air bubbles in the egg. The second step needs a little bit longer and is beating the cream until the cream is hard and stay. And then I put carefully the egg yolks into the cream and carefully put them under the cream. And then I have the finished English cream. Now I go back to the tart and open the lid, put in the cream and make it even with a spoon, and then I put the lid on top again and the tart is finished. To make the puff paste on the top is my own interpretation, but I think it looks more beautiful and the puff taste is delicious. Now the most beautiful part by cooking, and this is to tasting the dish. I cut it off and take a little bit from everything, from the cream, from the raspberries and from the dough, all together, and try it. It is very, very good because the sourness of the strawberries came through a little bit light and sweet cream, but not too sweet. The only sugar was in the egg yolk, and this is really a nice dish. And the dough, it's really delicious, but this is a normal puff paste, not sweetened. That's a really nice dish, and I can recommend, try it out at home. It is very easy to do and very tasteful, and you can surprise your guest with a dish from the 18th century. But it's not the only recipe what I do in this YouTube channel. I have do a sherry pie too, also an old recipe, and how I do this, I show this in this video. It's very close to this, a little bit other, and try it out. We see you in the next video. See you soon.